There is absolutely no simple answer to that. And I think that probably there's not much written about COOs. Probably the most famous article in the Harvard Business Review that talked about 6 different kinds of COO, and that's probably an understatement. So it is a very situational role, and probably increasingly so. Traditional, more like logistics or in fact operations heavy business, when there's a lot of just stuff that needs to get done, kind of, calling it keeping the trains running on time. I think there's somewhat a distinction, where the chief executive officer is in a role, guiding the overall strategy and, building out the product, and the chief operating officer is there just making sure that, the factory's pumping out widgets or whatever it is. And, that role still exists. Obviously, things like manufacturing and logistics haven't gone anywhere. When you talk about the chief operating officer in, more of a tech company or a company that, is more reliant, I guess, on the knowledge economy than other things, it's actually quite a complex and situational role. It relates very much to the business, and in particular to the, I guess, strengths and weaknesses and inclinations of the CEO. It's very much a partnership type of role with the CEO. But the word that you mentioned that I think actually really kind of summarizes it is you talked about execution, right? And I think execution in the sense of saying, this is as a company what we are trying to achieve. These are the resources we have to achieve it. Now we actually have to go and do it. We have to execute against that. I think that is the chief operating officer's sort of primary function, and a lot about bringing, all the different functions together, making sure they're not siloed, making sure the strategy is well understood. And yes, there's definitely, a strong element of process, but the processes are, less about complex workflows and more about like, how do we set our goals, right? How do we plan? What metrics are we keeping track of? How do we make sure that there is visibility across what different teams are doing and that they are coordinating well together?